You'd really think I'll just be bored of this at some point, but it's just my jam. Hi, the time man. Hi. Hi and welcome. Hi and welcome. Alright. We first make sure everything is in order. Oh, I have even some coffee ready. Would you look at that? How prepared I am with everything. So. Splendid. Splendid, splendid. Let me make sure everything is up to order. I did not in fact turn off my camera yesterday, and so the battery is dead. Well, there goes my planning head. Fortunately, I have a backup battery, because I do plan ahead. There's always plan B. Come on. Let's see. It's going to be dark. It is dark. You can piss off. No. You can piss off. Beautiful. Now let's just turn it back on. And now the focus. Splendid. Well, I gave myself this rule to not drink at this hour. This hour? It's 2 p.m. Could be worse. If I recall correctly, half-life of caffeine is 6 hours, which would mean 8 p.m. is when the half-life hits. Which is why I'm gonna finish up my pot. I took most of it in the morning, but yes, we were going to be working on my beloved. Because this is another taking a break stream. Yesterday I was supposed to stream, but we got distracted. We got distracted with a little bit of physics. Yes, it was maddening. Just a little bit, not too much. Basically, last time you said it was 8, before that you said it was 7. Last time when I said it was 8, Tefta corrected me by saying it was 6. And I remember it's 6 because I remember me remembering that it was 8, Tefta correcting me that was 6, and Tefta correcting me because he heard it from me that was 6. So let's see. Half-life of caffeine. 4 to 6 hours. Oh wait, you can't see. There we go. Reject all. Have a half-life 2 to 12 hours. Well, it's a range, I suppose. I have a quick metabolism, so I get to. What's the notebook? What happened yesterday? That's the Drunk Science notebook. It's this one, the thick boy. The one and only, my beloved. What happened yesterday? It's a long story. We were on a voice chat and we got kind of distracted, let's just say. We went a bit too much in depth about something that was too irrelevant. And we basically we were thinking about, we were planning like video related stuff, and at one point Ash just mentioned, we were talking about different kinds of forces, we were just kind of we were trying to create some examples, and Ash just mentioned at one point that apparently you can take a derivative of an absolute function, which I didn't think was possible. But Ash did some magic and apparently it works out. It is exactly what you would expect. Absolute function derivative is just a sine function, and derivative of that is a Dirac delta. And so we were trying to figure out what would be a model, how the system behaved that's described, that has a force of a Dirac delta acting on it. And we got some results. That's the only, we got some results, the only way I can describe it. they were in fact results. Interesting, I suppose. How is the sine function come to play? With a G. Sine. Not sine, only sine. As in plus or minus. It makes sense if you think about it for a second. It's just like a derivative of... It was something. Spent way too much time on it. Alrighty. It is a rest stream, which means I'm going to have fun and enjoy myself. I have videos to work on, but I'm going to use my strong force of will to not work on them, because I'm a man of will, not a man of want. Hi there, Holy Fingerable. How you doing? I'm guessing the proper derivation of crane is for original, so I'm not certain, but it wasn't bad actually. Hi there, Holy Fingerable. How you doing? Any new news of any new fun silicon wafer creation facilities you've visited recently? This one. Yes, that's what we're looking for. How to tackle this beast? None till Thursday. Oh, where are you going on Thursday this time? I'm gonna play myself some music because I need it. What am I in the mood for today? Going crazy? That's tempting. Music for organizing a criminal organization? No, that's for later. You will do. All right. How am I gonna tackle this? That's a good question. This is going to be really tricky. Once again, how to do it efficiently. The issue I'm having, I should probably explain what I'm doing first. Does anyone actually care? This is background noise stream, isn't it? Yeah, you'll be fine. Right. I do care. Time and it's computer science. You famously dislike the topic. Why is my head so blank? We can go line by line. We can first do that, that's correct. Yeah, alright, here's what we're gonna do. Back to my class's clean room to do the lab, which I think is doing some photolithography and etching of our silicon wafers. Is photolithography exactly what it sounds like? I'm going to look it up. But I hope it's one of those names that just is descriptive, because that would save me a hassle of understanding it. Photolithography. Microlithography, generative procedure, patent in films. Yeah, okay. So it is exactly what it sounds like. Very convenient. That is really neat. I'm actually still uncertain, because how does the process of designing a silicon wafer? I imagine it's really similar. Well, I imagine it's like a more competitive version of just designing a PCB. Hold on. Quick question, which I am not certain if I asked in the past or if I got distracted in the past and actually didn't ask. When you're designing a silicon wafer, do you Do you like design the doping, or do you design the connections? How does it work? Because the doping would make, well, more sense in one regard. Also, get the chance to draw my university's more advanced clean room. Oh, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. And actually, there's like computer science utopian modem. That's when I started using cores and data. That's why I also kept asking about Cloudflare as I was watching basic sometimes code. The thing is, with Manim, I've taught you mainly programming because Python doesn't require that much computer science knowledge, which is good because otherwise Python, that's like the whole point of Python. Python would be bloody useless if it required computer science knowledge, which is good. What you're asking with Cloudflare, that's networking, which is on the opposite side of... Allow me to... I've become more of a physicist than a goddamn programmer as of late, so let me give you physics as an analogy. Low-level stuff, so like stuff I'm doing right now, like C, is one side of the spectrum. The other side would be... No, is there anything further than networking? Well, LLMs, I guess. But right here you'd have stuff like networking, stuff like LLMs, stuff like what else? Stuff like no, cryptography, not quite. That would be more mathematics. Stuff like these, basically. Possibly some Docker related things, maybe some sandboxing. That exists on a spectrum of abstraction, which basically means like how close you are to the functioning of a computer. And I can give you an analogy for it in physics, which is kind of like a spectrum of theoretical physics to engineering. What you are describing is right here, and this is my hobby project, which is why I'm writing it in C, a language that's absolutely useless for most purposes, but fun. Before I started the stream, Zeno actually, I had this exchange with Zeno, which I do find pretty hilarious. It's not a language of people who hate themselves. That's TypeScript. C is fun, I promise. Come and see. You won't regret it, truly. Cheers, I don't watch me load this up on the YouTube videos. Once again, the problem with this is that this knowledge is only useful if you're like really specializing in something. I mean, I guess what I'm doing right now isn't really low level. Yeah, you know what? No, what I'm doing right now is actually pretty simple. That I can explain. I made my own shading language. This is it. This right here. And there we go. And so. Right here, this is my own shading language. Don't mind the hashes, these are just comments about it. It creates a square using these 4 points. It creates a triangle using these 3 points. It creates a circle using this arc. Then it colors in the square green, colors in the circle blue, and colors in the triangle red. And so, if I right now display shapes mktag, then if I run this command, ta-da! It's displayed. That's basically what I did. I'm just improving it. I'm not drinking coffee, I'm drinking a sugary milkshake. Jeez, like, I can taste that in the morning and make it has really been on a budget with our usage of caffeine. It's unbelievable. It tastes just like a sugary milkshake. I believe it's the connections and devices to be used, although stuff with academia and R&D are probably also just doping and such, and sometimes custom things need to be made. I mean, because on one hand, it makes sense for it to be just connections, because photolithography is in the name. But on the other hand, doping would make a lot more sense because it's a silicon wafer, right? Like, if you just dope a silicon wafer, you can basically put the transistors. You can like modify it to be transistors on the spot. I don't know if I'm explaining myself clearly. If I'm not, then do let me know. The only problem is that I don't know how you would achieve this kind. I haven't looked into silicon wafer development. That's why. But I don't know. So I don't know if / how could you dope silicon this precisely. I imagine there has to be a way, because otherwise, integrated circuits wouldn't exist. But I'm just not certain. Get the ligaments to under the money. They had money. They didn't have time and energy. Am I coding hating arc? It is really expensive toys, to be fair. The Lego markup is crazy on them. You know what, let's for now just do this. Let's not go crazy. Let's give us the size. And so what we'll do is this. Oh, that took a while. Whoops. That's correct so far. Right, brilliant. Then what we want is... Oh, the time! I completely forgot about the time as well. So many things. Really doing some forbidden techniques here. Yeah, that's fine. Much more convenient node, new model, and 3D print the physical structure. I would personally beg to differ. To each their own. To each their own. Having a 3D printer is just too much fun. And it's actually not like, it's actually similar price range to Lego, I suppose. If you're buying really small amounts, then it's definitely more expensive to get a 3D printer, but even with moderate amounts, I think in these times 3D printer may genuinely be cheaper, which is hilarious. Okay, we want this to happen at the very, very end. Doping is done very locally and can be done during crystallograph or using ion implantation, with the latter being the more modern one and more used one, I believe. My goodness, we are going on a tangent already. That was quick. getting flashbacks to Flames research. Okay, yeah, that makes sense then. It still has to be so incredibly precise and it's incredible. I have a lot of Lego, including Lego structural items like beams and gears, so if I go into Lego Robotics, it's just slap the milestone components onto my Lego cars that I have already. I suppose that also is an option. I kind of forgot that people can just have Lego. I genuinely just forgot about that fact. I suppose compatibility is a good option. Then we go over it again, because it will be too easy, just the once. Right, we want to copy over, oh my goodness, who wrote this code? Terrible, horrendous. Smart free text. Why is this called smart? That's the issue. It should just be called free text. Yeah, it's so much better. What's very amazing is AMSL's AUV, Extreme Ultraviolet Photography Machine. That one needs to be very precise. Once again, you're tracking me into rabbit holes without consent. I don't appreciate that. Show me ASMR. What have we got? Jeez, that's a punched up graphic. That's quite a punched up graphic. Huh. It's mental. The whole thing is so mental. When you realize just... And like, I mean, and integrated chips are just like widely available things for some reason. For some reason they're... My goodness, for some reason... where is it? For some reason, this entire buggy has cost me... Oh, what was it? 20 cents? I don't remember actually, but it was cents on the dollar. This is mental. It's mental. I won't even mention the other ones that are even cheaper per weight. This is ridiculous. Now we live in crazy times. We live in mental times. Right, it's not gonna compile now, obviously. That makes sense. The reason why it's not gonna compile is because all the smart ones are removed.
Table.
Hydra! I forgot you're a table. So, Dirac Delta, am I right?
Bruh. So bad.
For me, it was great.
I haven't actually checked out the post and like seen if anyone has commented anything or something.
A couple of you have. Two people have corrected me because I said Chronica Delta instead of Dirac Delta. Which, yeah, that was just correct.
Ah, yeah, wait, yeah. That's fine.
I mean,
109 likes, damn. That's... wow.
Don't look at that.
That's more people than I know IRL.
Don't look at that. That's such a horrible way to interact. Why does it always happen? The same thing as when Macaroni joins in and always like reads out how many people are watching the stream. Terrible way to interact with social media.
I mean, I don't interact with social media at all besides like Discord, so I don't know what the proper way is, but
Don't look at the
big number.
numbers. That's a big one, big rule. It's just making a table. Yeah, it's me and my table. What do you have a problem with that? My table is surprisingly proficient in mathematics.
Yo, somebody actually knows about the Fourier transform of the Dirac delta. That's crazy. Get this guy in Discord.
Time to dope the table and create the wood integrated circuit. You could. With enough dedication, anything is possible. Right, we need to remove all the. We need to dumb our code down a bit. Because it has a lot of smarts in it, which it shouldn't have now. We need to dumb it down. There we go. Oh, it's so great to just have a single place where you can look for the phrase you need and then just replace them all. I'm pretty certain there's just a way to replace them all, but I'm not that clever. I'm not even paid for that stuff. Oh my goodness, build. There we go. Make it, what are those chips you showed? The buggy with a lot of them were motor drivers. And I mistyped. There we go. The buggy with a lot of them were motor drivers. The other ones were multiplexers. So these are motor drivers into which you plug in 2 inputs, the voltage, and 2 outputs. And these are the multiplexers. So when you have a motor driver, the way it works is you have a chip with 8 pins, and if I recall correctly, 2 of them are dedicated to ground, 2 of them are dedicated to voltage, 2 of them are the signal, and 2 of them are the outputs. You connect this to your, well, technically they're motor drivers, but whatever you want, your device that takes power. You connect this to your controlling device, and there's just, you know, ground and voltage. And then your controlling device can control whatever device it is you're controlling. And then the multiplexer has a couple more pins, but it basically has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, not on one side for some reason, data pins, and then you basically use 3 pins in order to control these 8. The more you know. I have a whole bunch more integrated circuits just lying on my desk that I've never used. These are just the 2 I use semi-regularly. I suppose I use irregularly. It does not work. Wait, no, it does work. Yeah, no, never mind, that's correct. We just messed everything up. This is correct. Now, was this correct? What we would like now is another function, copy sentence, and it will be destination and then source. Oh, fun. Remember, make it, you're having fun. Within me, I have a fun detector because I just, whenever I feel all of a sudden feel like I really want to work on a video, that's how I know I'm having a lot of fun. Hi, the Lycan, how you doing?
I like him.
You missed out on a lot yesterday. EP.
Oh yeah. No, he joined for a bit, I think.
Yeah, but joined and
But
left
then,
us in at the cracks of the moment.
yeah.
We're having a very intelligent conversation. Um, this should work. The talking table. Yeah, it's a talking table. Big deal. I have a table that is really good at mathematics. No question. What happens inside the chip? If my code sends out the yellow cable, yes, signal, meaning that move the motor, and purple thing is voltage motor if it needs to move. It's basically just properly connected transistors. So what you have normally is you have something called a transistor, which, if I'm not mistaken, most of the time you would use a MOSFET for it. And the whole deal is that MOSFET, or metal oxide semiconductor field effect transistor, for some reason I have it memorized, gives you 3 pins, depending on if it's an N-doped or P-doped, it doesn't matter. The basic idea of a MOSFET is that you can use voltage to control current. So you have 3 pins, 2 pins through which the current would flow, and this pin which controls if the current flows or if it doesn't. Which means that if you have some kind of microcontroller, that microcontroller can give you 3.2 volts, for example, easily, but that 3.2 volts will be like 0.05 amperes, which sucks. This can't drive a motor, not even close, it doesn't have enough energy. A battery could also give you 3.2 volts, and it could give you like 1 ampere if you'd like. But the problem is that it's always on. So what this kind of circuit allows you to do is allows you to turn this on or off, depending on if this voltage is high or low, regardless of the amperage. If I get voltage, I send voltage, yes, but very crucially, it's not about the voltage it sends, it's about the amperage it sends, because it sends a higher current, because it sends the current of the battery. What's also fun this semester is that I'm going to be designing a subsystem for an integrated circuit. You might actually get it to be made to test and possibly keep like a trinket, such a keychain, that's brilliant. I'm gonna be crossing my fingers for your unholy fingerball. I already told you. I need you to be my my electrical engineering expert and RF expert, so you know. For my own selfish gain, I'm gonna be crossing my fingers. Never understood why transistors are useful for. Well, I mean, these are the MOSFET kind. You also have the classical NPN and PNP, which are a whole other kind of worms. One day I'll make a video on it. First, I need to finish quantum mechanics. Then I can move on to engineering. Wait, what am I doing? I don't need this. There's this STL copy, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm certain I've used this in my code before. Trans isn't very useful, very kind. Yeah. I don't think I see enough transparents though. That's the only issue. I'm okay, I've grown that my own joke, that was horrible. NMOS, PMOS for MOSFET, and NPN, PNP for BJTs. BJTs, thank you, that's the name I forgot. I also have some BJTs. I actually have both of them actually, just on my desk once again. And these right here are MOSFETs, and these right here are BJTs. I don't ever use, I've never in my entire life has successfully used a BJT. They scare me and confuse me. Who? Oh no, no one joined. Did you just switch your device, Ash?
No, I disconnected for a second and I reconnected.
Oh, there's echo now. Oh,
What? Hold on.
I think it vanished. Yeah,
Oh,
it vanished. No way, I can't believe making this homophobic. Scared of LGBT. Scared of LGBT? Lycan, I literally invented LGBT. Need I remind you? I'm literally the inventor of LGBT. Hold on. Let me prove it to you. Because I...
Low graphic box transpiler. LGBT.
No. No, come on. Don't be ridiculous. Where is it? There we go. Taxi. Added LGBT functionality. I am the inventor of LGBT. I think somewhere on my disk, on my GitHub direction. Yeah, there we go. RGB to LGBT. Technically it's RGBA, but close enough.
Lemon green blue transparent.
Yeah, it's red, green, blue alpha to lemon, green, blue transparent.
That's amazing.
You know, a lot of trans people in the community, some of them will probably become parents someday. Yeah, I'm just saying I haven't seen any transparents. You never know. I take it back. I'm pleased with this joke now. I've grown at it, but I'm pretty pleased. It's quite funny actually. All right, that's enough. It's enough of my reminiscing about my glorious LGBT days. I've used this in my code so many times. How do I never remember? Never mind, not that many times. I don't remember which way it goes. str copy. Str copy, yeah. Which way does it go? Just give me the documentation. Destination source, right? Destination source, yeah. Good. Which means source I just realized it kind of relies on both of them having the same. No, I'm an idiot. Oh, why is this such a pain? Why has it always got to be such a pain? This this should be source.size. Size is equal to source.size. There we go. Dest no wait, dest words is equal to malloc size of mpt text word times dest size. Beautiful. Once again, massive headache. More coffee would be nice. Oh, it's my last cup. Shameful. Not even spiked. So, Ash, anything interesting today?
Well, I don't know. I was just booking.
You've cut out after you said booking, and it made you actually sound pretty hilarious. Hi, the Theo. Hi.
But yeah, I still have to study for today, so probably something interesting will pop up later.
That's fair. Source words I letters. So we're going to copy the letters into the
But like, I learned the bear category theorem today.
bear category theorem, like an animal bear.
No, like,
like a guy.
hold on, I'll type it. Yeah, it's a guy.
Okay.
And it actually has nothing to do with categories, so
Thank goodness the name isn't misleading. Is it letters? I'm losing myself. Oh, jeez, yeah, no, I wouldn't have guessed that spelling. Yeah, I'm not even upset, I just wouldn't be able to guess that spelling. There's a typo in the caption of free figure. Okay, my actual name and the other bits. That's what asked me. Exactly. This is such a headache. Also, is there anything other than brain rot in category theory? I genuinely don't know what category theory is about. I know it's about categories, but
the thing is, the answer is probably like, okay, yeah, I actually don't know.
I honestly used to be pretty scared of mathematics, but I have consistently been shown that all the topics in mathematics are actually really simple.
Oh yeah,
Like, the list of things that I thought were really difficult to understand until someone basically just explained them to me in 15 minutes are manifolds, groups, vector is something that operates like a vector. That one is hilarious. Because about like brain rot. Yeah, I mean, it's how my entire knowledge of category theory is basically it's what happens when people don't want to be serious but also don't like knot theory. Sexual factor for sheep. I don't know. Doesn't Alu actually hold on? Isn't Alu really good at category theory?
they're good at type theory,
I
which I
mistaked
guess
it.
is
Yeah, never mind.
yeah.
I wouldn't mind just like an intro course to type theory actually.
Is category close to type theory? I mean, I wouldn't say that.
I didn't say that.
Oh, okay.
I said I wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
That thought was unrelated from the. I was just said like I wouldn't mind the core, like introduction course to type theory because it's very useful in computer science.
Yeah. Homotopy type theory.
I know a specific
Lean
huge
into-
amount that loves no theory, but it shall not be named. I
No,
prefer
no,
you.
it shall not be named.
I prefer you talking about Stokes, like
Yeah.
and
Stokes is so much more tame somehow.
Theo typing in all caps. I fucking love knots is not making this better.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay.
Takes me a while to answer abstract mathematical stuff, but yeah, kind of simple. Well, that's because most abstract mathematical stuff is taught the Wikipedia way. No offense, nothing against Wikipedia. I love them. I genuinely love Wikipedia. It's honestly top 5 websites of the internet. But it does have a reputation for absolutely sucking when it comes to explaining mathematics. And I mean, like, you know, vector is something that operates like a vector is my most recent favorite example because it makes so much sense. Unless you introduce it as vector is something that operates like a vector, then it sounds ridiculous. Operators, I will make a video about it real soon because it's something I found that I really like. Operators as well, there's a way to think of them that is a lot really intuitive, not abstract. I would say that everything in mathematics I have personally seen so far does have an intuition behind it. It's just that really often people disregard the intuition because that's the problem. Usually you have, like, you know, two groups, right? Which is, you have the casual mathematicians and you have the competitive mathematicians. Casual mathematicians care about the intuition because they do it for fun, but they never go into the advanced topics. And the competitive mathematicians do go into the advanced topics, but they don't care about the intuition because it just kind of gets in the way. When you have a 300-page book on a topic, you can't just spend the time to actually develop an intuition for every single thing that the book shows. It's funny for the bit, but neither correct nor useful. What do you mean not useful? It's very useful. It's extremely useful. It's a really bloody good definition of a vector. Genuinely, vector is something that operates like a vector. Is ever since I understood, it's one of my favorite things. Partial x a vector and the x is a covector, change my mind. I mean, okay, the covector stuff, once again, I haven't gotten to. But partial as a vector, yeah, because a vector is something that operates like a vector. You're correct. A vector is something whose components operate like a vector, but still. Yeah, because, you know, vector operates like a vector is permanent over the tensor operates like a tensor. Using the term you want to define as definition is tautology. And that doesn't define a thing. It absolutely does. What do you mean, Theo? Genuinely. This is not me being like ironic, sarcastic, anything. Genuinely, a vector is something that operates like a vector is a good definition. Yeah, no, I have to do this slowly. You don't want to look up a word in the dictionary when the word wet, looking at the definition of the word wet. Yeah, but this isn't a dictionary. This is mathematics. If I if I understood that vector is something that operates like a vector a month ago, then we wouldn't have to do the whole song and dance with Lichen. Because Lichen could just give me a singular equation of partial derivative operates like a vector, and then yeah, there we go. I would have been fixed. Non-building blocks to build your wall you want to define. Two things. First of all, you always will have some kind of underlying axiom that's taken for granted, Theo. Always. Because every definition will be circular, either circular or will lead to some kind of undefined axiom if you dig deep enough. That's just how it works. Second of all, vector is something that operates like a vector is genuinely useful because once again, if I understood it a month ago, Lycan could have explained to me how a derivative can be a vector in a single tiny equation. But don't worry, I'll make a video about vectors, which will end with vector somebody operates like a vector. Because I do want everyone watching to genuinely have that kind of understanding of a vector. I see, like, we were both, like, Ash, we both were memeing on the tensor something operator. Because I remember, I was with you both on a voice chat when you said to Remco that you finally understand what physicists mean when they say tensor something that operates like a tensor. And like,
Yeah.
I have also been memeing on Remco's whole shtick of vector something that operates like a vector for such a long time. But my goodness, it's actually really good. But once again, all of it stems from the fact that where's the Lycan? Hold on. Can I actually? Oh, I have a streamer mode enabled, so I can't find it. Give me a second. There it is. I found it.
How 90% of diff geo pops out from the chain rule, FTC, and integration by parts. Like I mean, there's a lot more to diff geo than just Stokes' theorem.
Blasphemy. Lycan is gonna eat you alive for that. Don't tell Lycan there is anything outside of Stokes' theorem, right? Lycan has something called commitment to the bit. Quite annoying that I did it backwards, but okay. There we go. However, vector has definition and is not works like a vector. Not works like a vector, operates like a vector. That's actually a good one. How would you define a vector, Theo?
Let me put Theo to rest. When they say that a vector is something that operates or transforms like a vector, what they mean is if you have some object defined on your manifold and it transforms correctly under the push forward of a diffeomorphism, then it turns out that vectors, or like derivations at least, they also transform properly under the push forward of a diffeomorphism. And that's essentially what they mean by if something transforms like a vector, then it is a vector. It's just a condition stating that does it transform correctly under the push forward of a diffeomorphism.
Cringe way of putting it, Ash. Honestly, cringe way of putting it.
Because that way it's not a tautology. That way you're actually checking against something else.
I'm disappointed, Ash.
Uh-huh. I mean, it's the same type of problem with saying that like a monad is a monoid in the category of endofunctors. Like, okay,
No, it's
it's
not, because
cool
I
to
mean,
say.
because like
It's
vector is
cool to
something
say,
that
but it doesn't.
operates like a vector, gives you utility because you have an equation into which you can plop something and actually check if it is a vector.
Yeah, but like
So if you
in
note
that.
down literally, vector is, hold on, vector, oh, always mu, is something that transforms. I always get these wrong, don't I? X, Y. Hold on, I don't want to be wrong right here. I should get which way the partial derivatives go. Ah, the top one, beautiful. There we go. Like, this gives you actual utility because all you need to do is just replace your vectors with the object that you want to check if it is a vector and see if the equality holds. If it holds, that means it's a vector. If it doesn't, then it's not a vector. Or am I wrong?
I mean, yeah, but in that sense, saying that a monad is a monoid in the category of endofunctors is correct as well, but it doesn't clear up jack shit.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that this clears up shit. Because if you want to check if a derivative is a vector, then you just put the derivative into this equation. And the equation holds. Which means that derivative is a vector.
If you want to check if something's a monad, then just check if it's a monoid in the category of endofunctors. What's the problem?
That one I'm not familiar with, so I can't speak of that. But I can tell you that this is actually useful.
I mean, I'm not saying that it's wrong, but I'm just saying that a better job could be done in explaining what it is or like what it's supposed to mean besides just saying, oh yeah, this is something because it is that
Ash,
thing.
with all due respect, I want
Yeah.
you to look me dead into my soulless gaze, my sparkless eyes. Repeat your definition of a vector and tell me with a straight face that you think it's a better explanation that more people will understand.
I think it is.
You are hopeless.
But I mean, how do I put this? It's how the definition originated.
Okay. Once again, when you are
Yeah.
teaching someone something, you don't always, you actually, in fact, should never optimize for the pedantic accuracy. What you should optimize for is the understanding. And if vector is something that operates like a vector is correct, I left you pause in case you wanted to interrupt me, but you didn't, so I'm going to assume that you agree it's correct.
Oh yeah, I'm waiting for you to finish.
Yeah, so if it is correct, that means there is no need for the pedanticness. Vector is a vector. That's the true difference. This isn't stating that vector is a vector. Vector is a vector would look like this. This is vector. What this is saying is that vector is something that operates like a vector. The amount of pedanticness is given. Yeah, but pointless pedanticness is harmful.
I mean, I suppose you could say that, but the thing is, in this case, it's not just being pedantic. I think there is an element of pedagogy to it as well. Because if you then look at Christoffel symbols, you're like, okay, why are Christoffel symbols not tensors? And then you could say, oh, that's because they don't transform like a tensor, which I mean, I guess qualitatively it is correct.
Okay, you know
But
what?
at the same
Listen,
time,
if you want to convince me, I would like you to then show, because here's the thing. In my eyes, I want you to understand what the problem is. In my eyes, the
Yeah.
problem is that this equation I have noted down appears to be correct. And in
Yeah.
my eyes, I also know for a fact that it's useful. The reason why I know is because, once again, even personal experience. Lycan could have explained to me how derivatives are vectors much easier using this definition of a vector. If you want to actually show me that there is a better way, the first and easiest step would be to show me how this definition is insufficient. So give me a counterexample. Now, this is not me, by the way, like challenging you because I don't believe you. It's me, like, this is, I think, the best way for you to show me your point. Because so far, you're giving me an alternative which I just see as objectively worse, because it's an alternative that's a lot more difficult to explain, whilst I don't see any benefits. I don't know if you understand what I mean.
I see.
Yeah, so, like, give me a counterexample, and if that counterexample actually shows this definition as being subpar, then I'll accept your point. If that other definition, doesn't have that kind of counterexample, which I'm assuming it doesn't.
Okay, I see your point. Okay, then let me think.
But in my opinion, operates like a vector is just bad. In my opinion, Theo, you don't understand what this equation states. Because I think what's happening is you, Theo, think this equation states that vector is a vector, which once again, that's completely different. And that would be useless. Because vectors don't even operate. I know at least one specific lichen who would beg to differ. Hi Nicholas, how you doing? I'm gonna leave it with Ash because I fully, don't expect you fully to like do it on the spot. It's fine.
No, I'm thinking because it is genuinely hard to come up with an example that would make my point. Because operates like a vector and transforms under a push forward are basically the same thing. It's just that one is like, okay, you're using a vector to define it, and the other is more general.
You're not using a vector to define it. Once again, crucially.
No, but like the idea, as in like why we use it operates like a vector as the definition, is because a vector is something that transforms correctly under push forwards. That's where the idea originated from.
Yes, but you don't. Allow me to then give you a counterexample: quantum mechanics.
Yeah.
It's useful to motivate quantum mechanics using Poisson brackets. But at the end of the day, you don't really need Poisson brackets to motivate quantum mechanics. In fact, unless you are spending a significant amount of time, I think it's actually quite counter to the explanation in order to start the Poisson brackets. If you have the time, then yeah, you absolutely should start with Poisson algebra. But if you don't have the time, then you need to. Going into Poisson brackets could be highly misleading.
Well, I don't know much about how you would motivate quantum mechanics, so I can't say, but I
Well,
will
the motivation
take you
that
up on that.
the Poisson algebra is kind of like a matrix multiplication. So hey, let's see what happens if our functions are matrices, operators.
Ah, okay. Bro, yeah. Yeah, okay, never mind. I know that.
Yeah, I figured. I finally got a break from all the nonsense. Really glad to hear. Glad it's over. It's been, at this day, the month's over. And by the way, my offer still stands. I won't say what it is, but you know damn well what the offer is. No, you can't change your mind. My mind, I'm leaving open the opportunity for Ash to change it, because I do acknowledge that there could be a way in which it's subpar, but I first need to like see an example. Vectors are ordered n-tuplets of an n-dimensional space that satisfy a certain set of addition and multiplication rules.
No, I think You're going in a slightly different direction now. Bruh. And of course, there's lichen. Hmm.
In that scenario, you would have to have a space that's infinitely dimensional with that definition. Uncountably infinite dimensional, in fact. Because otherwise you can't
No.
do quantum mechanics. Well, with Theo's definition,
Oh yeah,
you
okay,
would
that.
need a space that's uncountably infinitely dimensional, or you can't do quantum mechanics.
Apparently, it's called the rigged Hilbert space, but I didn't look much into it.
Yep. I've been making steady progress so far. Glad to hear. Really glad to hear. N-dimensional. N is usually a finite number. Yeah, but what I'm saying is it has to also be have the option to be uncountably infinite, or with your definition you can't do quantum mechanics. And all of a sudden, a vector is something that operates like a vector. Doesn't look so bad. Because, hey, cats operate like a vector. You want fractional dimension infinite? Sure, you have to extend the definition and hope it doesn't blow up. Theo, it's your definition, it's your choice. Would you like to extend your definition, or would you like your definition to not work in a lot of physics? We had that at the infinite dimensional base in my place. Yeah, and I don't remember. The way it was resolved is by realizing that the vectors aren't defined as just n-dimensional tuples of an n-dimensional space. In fact, that is where Remco wrote down vector somehow is like a vector. Make it, how do you feel about the existence of fractional derivatives? I see it. I'm not too upset about it, to be honest. Which is used in physics in a very hand-wavy way. Once again, Theo, I just think you don't understand it. Because, like, I'm not certain if your definition allows for uncountably infinite numbers being written down kind of like a number line, or rather a function above it. Yeah, that is a good way to imagine them, Timon. And I actually personally encourage people to imagine them that way because it's just much easier. But the problem is that you can't really rigorously define a vector as an uncountably infinitely as an element of an uncountably infinite dimensional space, because that gives you a headache. Do you understand then? Yeah, I do. That's why I like it so much. I told you. Once again, this right here, in a single equation, explain a Likens point to me. Using the vector as something that operates like a vector. Because Lichen has shown me that partial derivatives operate like a vector. Is it countably or uncountably infinite? I encourage people to think of it as uncountably infinite, because it has to be uncountably infinite if you're imagining it as like an element of a vector space. But once again, that's just for the intuition. In quantum mechanics, vectors are uncountably infinite. Well, hold your horses. Because, once again, cats and brass. my hosts now. It wasn't meant to be that way command. Maybe I should just start saying that tensor is something that operates like a tensor instead of a vector or something. But no, it's way more annoying to write down because of the multiple derivatives. What do you operate as? Aren't kits and bras just uncountably infinite vectors, one vertical, one horizontal? Once again, I would say it's convenient to think about it in that way. But it leads to problems. It leads to I mean, they're not vectors in the same sense as three-dimensional position is a vector. They are vectors, but they're not that basic kind of vector. There are uncountably many dimensions between the x1 and x2 entry of the vector alone. Yes, once again, that's if you think about them. That's why I specifically separate off the intuition of thinking about them versus the definition of them. Nah, damn it. My mood is soured. It took a lot of restraint to not yell at Ash. I'm gonna work on the video. Beautiful. So I'll turn this off. Why would you even yell at Ash? Well, because Ash disagreed with me, and the proper scientific recourse is always to yell at the opposing side. Everyone knows this. I think that's
Yeah, I think you're confusing that with politics.
No, it's called the scientific method, right? That's like the method to have other people agree with you, yell at them. No? That's what I thought that was what it was. Functions are uncountably infinite large vectors, so quantum mechanics, just think of how functions are we do them, what we do vectors. Once again, Timon, separate the intuition from the definition. Very important that you do. Intuition wise, A+, but separate it off from the definition, see me after class. There we go. Oh wait, did my thing break? Well, maybe it didn't. Well, I'll be damned. Literally the segment in the video I'm working on right now includes the vector or something that operates like a vector.
Yeah, no, there is no counterexample. Because any counterexample that would disprove your statement would disprove my statement as well.
So can you can you see what I mean with how on one hand it's a good definition and on the other hand it provides a good intuition?
I mean, yeah, I do see where you're coming from, but then again, I guess it's just a personal thing, but I do believe that the one with uh push forwards is better because it illustrates better the idea of where the definition's coming from, if that makes some sense. But then your one is like, okay, but it has like, if you want to check if something is a vector, then you can just plug it into an equation and see if it makes sense,
Yes.
which is also something that works from a
You know what?
computational
I
perspective.
see what you mean then. I do believe I see what you mean. I suppose you are going like from if you're going with the vector starting from naught, then I suppose a vector is something that operates like a vector simply because it has
Application wise, it's better. I'll give you
its
that.
application. Well, the three reasons why I like it is because first of all it's accurate, which as I mentioned most of the time you need to pick between intuition and accuracy, so that's brilliant. Second of all, application wise is really easy, and third of all it provides a really nice intuition for what is a vector.
Mm.
So Theo, don't you? I've just checked with the math department. Don't you dare go around insulting my beloved vector something that operates like a vector. Oh, jeez. What is it called? Computer Modern. I just forget which font LaTeX is using. No, that doesn't look right. Test. We probably will actually go over the definition you provided, Ash, in the vectors video as well.
I mean, yeah, if you want to, sure.
You sound genuinely so upset.
No, I'm not.
I don't
No,
know.
it's not that I'm upset. It's that I'm still thinking about it. Because on the one hand, it's like, yeah, it makes sense. I won't disagree with you on that. But on the other hand, like I do think that there has to be some value in my definition as well, because
There
that's
is, yeah, there is. Once
where your
again,
definition originated
it's the
from.
same thing as I mentioned with Poisson brackets. You don't need
Yeah.
Poisson. Don't need Poisson algebra to explain quantum mechanics. But if someone asks you, okay, but why would we do it on the very beginning? You don't have an answer unless you specifically mention Poisson algebra.
Mm. I don't know. I guess we can just make a compromise here or something.
Yeah, it's your definition is just a better motivator. It's a bit like your definition is the best motivation for a vector, whilst the vector something operates like a vector is just the best explanation, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It doesn't have
That
to
is
be.
true.
It's not a compromise. It's just like what I believe to be true.
Duck is something that can reproduce with another duck and create a new duck.
I mean, that's kind of. Oh, why is this R so disgusting? Yuck. Oh, that is disgusting. I can't use capital R though. That's fine.
Oh my god, it's 3 o'clock already. What am I doing?
Thinking about vectors.
I should probably go out, buy some groceries, make some food, and then study a bit later. Yes, but the point is we don't mind it in biology, so why mind it in physics? No, it's not that I mind it like as in it's wrong or anything. It's just
The
personally I prefer that one.
Yeah, the
And
question is of preference, and I mean with personal preference, I won't bludgeon you on because like everyone just prefers their own thing. It's just my opinion as an educator that vector is something that operates like a vector is the best explanation of a vector. But once again, I concede on the point of motivation. I think Ash is a better motivator. You do. I genuinely can't tell because it could be just like your thinking tone, but you did sound so annoyed, like such a reluctant agreement.
no, I mean when I'm thinking, it's like I tend to be very different than when I
I
act
mean, I know
normally.
I've seen it. I've seen it like live. That when you think
Yeah.
you just have like resting. Haven't had my cup of coffee today yet. Face or glass of milk, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm saying it to Theo, who says that vector behaves like a vector is a tautology. Yeah, it isn't. Like, vector is a vector. Yes, that would be a circular definition, that would be pointless. But vector is something that operates like a vector, very crucially, is fine. Because, like, that. The reason why it's the best explanation I know is because the main thing we want from a vector is for it to operate like a vector. That's like why it's useful. And that definition strips away everything but that part. And honestly, it rarely ever. It's very rare for definitions to get more beautiful than that.
The thing is, vector behaves like a vector is not a tautology because behaves like a vector is something that's defined using something else, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Because if you're ever like, okay, but what does it mean to behave like a vector? Then you just end up back at differential geometry with the push forward definition. So it's actually not a
exactly.
tautology. It's just like the way that you've worded it is like it's meant to hide a tiny bit of the machinery, I
I
guess.
mean, it's kind of like saying, okay, it's kind of, this is an analogy, not spot on, but it's kind of like me saying that zero is something that gives a zero when multiplied. So a zero is equal to a times zero. Like it
Yeah.
provides you a pretty good idea for the zero. Once again, analogy because I imagine there are some asterisks attached to this, and this doesn't apply. But it does define you a zero, and also it gives you a really good idea for what a zero is. Because a big deal of a zero is that if you multiply something by zero, it returns to a zero. This isn't a circular definition.
That is correct. It's not a circular definition over the real and complex numbers, but like there are other rings
Yeah, that's
where
why
this
I
would
said
break.
that's
But
why I
yeah,
said asterisk attached are meant to be an analogy. That's why I specifically specified
yeah.
that.
But yeah, in like a properly behaved field, this would be a pretty good way of checking if something
Yeah,
is zero.
and my whole point here is that on one hand the definition is accurate, which in this scenario it isn't, but you know for vectors is accurate, and on the second of all, it gives you a like the definition is the understanding you need in order to understand the zero. Because if someone then asks you why is zero like special among all the numbers, why do we care about zero? Well, then you can give them this. This is like the thing. It's a very fixed point. But then you can define everything as A is something that behaves like A. Not
You can.
always. Well, no, not always. You can only do it if A is defined by its behavior. So if you broadly enough, like if you describe all of its behavior, then yeah, you can.
Without mentioning the behavior properties, this is bad. I
Yeah,
mean,
but vector is something that
so
operates like a vector. It does depend on these properties. Because once again, it's this equation, this right here. Vector is something that operates like a vector. It's just this equation read aloud. Alright, bye, like, and bye, have a good one.
bye bye.
I'm actually really pleased with the 0 is equal to a times 0 analogy. My goodness, I got my mojo back.
I mean, okay, technically, if you like putting other fields of science aside, just focusing on maths, when would it be the case that saying that A is something that behaves like A would not be a sufficient definition of something? Because I mean, we characterize everything by its properties in maths, don't we? So like,
I
in maths at least, I
suppose.
think it would always work.
The truth is, I just wasn't certain, which is I didn't want to say yes. It doesn't. I'm not. Whenever I'm not certain, I just say either I don't know or not necessarily, because it's just a safer option. I didn't want to go that route because what if you have like empty set?
An empty set? Um, you can also, it also has a behavior, let me think of it, but it has one in terms of category theory, so I'm gonna have to like think for a second.
I mean, ideally, describing everything as A is something that behaves like A would be ideal. It's just that you don't always, that most of the time, things you're describing have more complicated behavior that cannot be distilled this simply. So for example, trying to describe, let me think. Trying to describe a field as A is something
Yeah.
that behaves like A isn't nearly as elegant. Because you don't have like a singular singular essence of a field.
I mean, yeah, that's true. But you can behave like A, it can be multiple things.
Yeah, I will give you. You know what? After a second of consideration, I do agree with you, Ash. Probably everything.
Yeah.
I just wasn't certain, but yeah, probably everything can find a way. But still, and most of the things aren't as elegant as vector, something that operates like a vector.
Zero is something that behaves like zero is always a worse definition than zero is an element that has the following properties here, here, here,
Those are the
here.
same
I
thing.
mean, but like that's the entire idea though. Like that's the
Zero is something that behaves like zero. Yeah, and then you just list the properties of zero. That's basically what we're doing here. Except in the vector case, the only property is how it operates between vectors.
yeah. We're only interested in the transformation law, nothing else. So
Yeah, like
it yeah.
if your mathematical object has only one property, then so for example, if your oh my goodness, let's try to think of something else other than the vector.
An empty set is a subset of every set. So if your
Yeah, exactly.
set is a subset of every set, then it has to be the null set. So
That's actually a really good one. Yeah. When I like this, I'm as a teacher myself. If I ask you what is vector and you answer a vector is something that behaves like a vector, I have gained nothing of value.
but then you can follow
Operates
up.
crucially. Theo, you keep exchanging out words willy-nilly. Once again, that's why I said I don't think you understand it, Theo, because you keep replacing words thinking that it means the same thing when it doesn't. Vector is something that behaves like a vector is useless, but vector is something that operates like a vector is useful. Like, listen, what you are doing, Theo, here's the thing, here's what's happening. What you are doing is you are looking at an equation like 0 is equal to a times 0, simplifying it to 0 equals 0, and then saying that 0 equals 0 is useless. Yes, 0 is equal to 0 is useless, but you have gotten it from the 0 is equal to a times 0. Like, you are taking that definition, creating a different statement based on definition, and saying that that new statement isn't a good definition. Which, yeah, it isn't. That's why I said that I don't think you understand what vector is something that operates like a vector means. Because you keep consistently exchanging that around. Even if you say it operates, it still does not explain what a vector is. It does. If you have an object that operates like a vector, that means it's a vector. Or in other words, if you have an object that satisfies this equation, so you replace v with that object, that means it will be a vector. For example, if you have, once again I'm gonna use Lycan's message as a cheat sheet because I tend to, damn it, I lost the message. Again. Actually no, I don't. If you have this, hope I'm not gonna fuck it up now. I might. I'm pretty certain I haven't. This means derivatives are a vector. I said that doesn't operate like a vector. Sorry to break your word. The problem, Theo, is that your understanding of a vector is very, like, applied. Your understanding of a vector is the way it is introduced in, like in classical mechanics to model n-dimensional things. But that's not the only way vectors are used in mathematics or physics. Here's the thing, like, I won't be able to explain something to you because you keep, like, refusing to acknowledge the fact that you could be wrong. Because you keep pushing for the same, like, you need to realize that you don't understand it. Because if you don't realize it, then you will keep going with the same vector or something that behaves like a vector or has properties of a vector, which that's not what that equation states. Oh, my blender almost crashed. The problem, Theo, is that you have the same, you fall into the same problem as I used to do, where you tend to assume that you understand something, and then based on that getting the wrong conclusions, and based on that causes the argument to become, at least from my perspective, that's what it looks like. It looks like the argument then becomes really emotional to you. I can hear Ash Discord's
Oh
pings.
wait, you
Yeah.
can.
Yeah.
Right, I should have said something. Hold on, let me switch to browser then.
Yeah, so the problem is that you, Theo, you don't question your understanding enough, then the argument becomes emotional for you, and then once it becomes emotional, it becomes even more difficult for you to change your mind. At least that's what it looks like from my perspective, from my
There we
point of
go.
view.
You guys shouldn't hear pings anymore, hopefully.
I don't understand how behind operator behaviors there are rules. However, on its own, as an answer to the question, it operates like a vector. It has not explained to me what a vector is. When your holders explain something, just bad. Yeah, because so far I haven't gone for the explanation of it once. I will make a video on it, in fact. Gambling is not that emotional for me. You may feel like it's not emotional, but once again, everyone who is emotional in an argument thinks they're rational. That's a huge pitfall. You need to realize that you could be wrong. That's the most important thing. Because it's the same reason as like with the whole mole argument. In the past, I have been extremely invested in it, and that was my downfall, because I stopped listening to other people. And also with the mole argument, you have started to fall into the similar pitfalls, because, well, the saying that you have everyone is entitled to a shit opinion, that's quite an emotionally charged statement, and quite an emotionally charged saying, especially when it comes to discussions which are meant to be scientific. Well, I could be wrong, but that's just what it looks like from my perspective. I have my couple of years of experience as a teacher. So do I! I don't think, though, having X amount of time of experience matters in the slightest. I could be doing what I'm doing right now for 3 decades and it still will tell you nothing, because doing something for a long time correlates with doing something well, but it doesn't mean someone is doing something well. What's the next? The truth is, Theo, to be frankly honest with you, I just think you don't realize how emotionally invested you are, and that makes it really difficult for you to change your mind. That is my opinion. Once again, I could be wrong, I do realize that, but based on my past and current arguments with you, that's what it feels like. Because, counterpoint, look at what happened between me and Ash right now. We disagreed, but then we presented our points, and now we agree. Personal preference, we all have our own, that's fine. Yudisha might grab with that part, right? Which part? The fact that I haven't explained it. Well, I can explain it to you if you'd like, and then you can make your mind if you think it's a good definition or not. No, it's way too dark. And no, it's crushing. No, it's not. Stop presuming emotionally in my year-long experience in tactics, please. These arguments besides that. Well, once again, I don't mean to insult you. I'm just saying what it looks like to me. This is not meant to be an attack. This is just constructive, hopefully constructive criticism. Can be excellent. I don't know, movement and shit. Just does not convey every emotion, but maybe I do acknowledge that. But once again, this is not based on this argument alone. It's also based on the past argument we've had, which was on a voice chat where it conveyed a lot more. Did you realize?
No, I was just gonna ask, you guys can't hear my pings anymore, right?
I'll be honest, I have a little bit of music going, so I am not certain.
Okay, you probably haven't because I just got like 3 pings right after I said that, so
Oh, yeah, then no.
perfect. I don't know, for some reason the app picks up my like system sounds, but I don't know how to turn it off. I tried like twice, but I couldn't figure it out.
Did you just get pinged right now?
Yeah.
Okay, well, it cut off. I think it's picking it up because, do you have headphones on?
No. I
Yeah,
don't
that's
have
why, it's just
headphones.
picking up like sound. So I think, do you have CRISPR enabled?
Yeah. I don't think you can actually disable that if I'm
No, you
if
can.
I'm not mistaken. Really?
Yeah, now I have it enabled, now I have it disabled. Where it says voice connected on the right, you have like a couple of bars crossed out next to the disconnect, and that's the noise suppression.
Yeah.
Is it enabled?
It is on.
It is on. Well,
Yeah.
then, I don't know. Because normally, like, it picks up pings and all the noises. It's just that crisp is supposed to, cancel it out.
I don't know. I'll look more into it later, I suppose. If it's fine for now. Because Timon says he can't hear them, so.
Yeah, no. Like, it picked it up, but only after you spoke. So it was probably still. Did you get another ping?
Yeah.
They're cut now, which I don't think. I think most people will notice, so it's fine.
Yeah.
I need to actively focus on it in order to get it. Alright, in the meantime, we might as well script out another one of our videos. I'm just opening my docs and there are so many documents there. I'm fine. I think I'll give differential equations. I'll let them go for now. Yeah. The Lagrangian formalism. For that, the Newtonian. Now I hear the pings. You could also try. Why do you need the pings? Well, I don't understand still why people have pings enabled always. It would be so distracting for me to have always pings enabled.
Really?
Yeah, is it not distracting for you? How do you study?
I just don't look at the pings. I don't know.
Yeah, but no, but the sounds would be distracting. It's the same as if I don't know, I'm in a room with a bell that just randomly goes off every 10 to 15 seconds. That would be really distracting, even though I don't find the bell interesting.
I don't know. I mean,
have you tried ever like studying without the pings?
normally when I do study, I have something playing in the background, so that also washes them out a bit. It's not that I can completely not hear them, but like, I don't know. It's just like usually when I'm studying, I'm very disconnected from everything else. So
after a while, the sound gets reduced as background noise in my head. I still don't understand why not just disable them.
maybe I can find a way to disable the sound but still keep the notification on or something.
I mean, if you just disable pings, they still like show.
No, they do, but like, it also shows as a small pop-up sometimes in my bottom. What is this? Right corner. Yeah, that's right. But yeah, anyway, I'll look at it later.
I'm landing the church tower and the biggest bell rings right behind me, am I right? I used to study there, in that specific tower, farmer mate, and I just couldn't get anything done. That was actually the bell I was referring to. Yeah, it's pretty loud. You have no English myself, so I'm being honest, it's going to be a message, but then I need to quickly jump in the moderate stuff because it's out of hand. Oh no, I have incredible moderators. Whenever anything happens and I get a ping, 95 times out of 10, Remco has already removed that person from the premises before I even get there. It's honestly witchcraft. It's actually, even Remco realizes it starts to look suspicious when when basically is always active when someone is spamming. It's hilarious. Welcome to the Make a Day Smile, actually. Euler Lagrange is such an elegant equation as well. Change isn't quite accurate because technically you could change the momentum at the cost of velocity, or change the velocity at the cost of momentum, which would be both equivalent to just dropping some mass to move faster. Farming, that is the kind of joke I would expect from Lycan, maybe Ash. Not from you.
Differential. Oh my god, that's a good one.
See what I mean?
That like, I think that opened something in my mind. I now have like so many more jokes that I can make now. Just every just gets replaced by same.
His mage now unlocked his potential. He has been cursed for a while. don't really like the lighting of the scene that much. If we move this lower, it could be a bit more exciting. A bit lower, minus 0.2. I know, when you say it's gonna be easy and he's a big potato, I know, tell me. We've been over this. Potatoes are objectively the best vegetable.
It's a good idea. I should get potatoes. I want to eat eggs today. I don't know.
I'm glad that the Hamiltonian video actually is turning out to be short and slick. Unlike some other videos I could mention. Videos that shan't be named. Just like make like some anti-video anyway. Hey, what happened in Germany stays in Germany. Farm remain. Right.
Oh my god. They don't yet understand that there's a way to fit a third character in there.
Are you proposing something? Because
No, no, I'm not proposing. How do I explain this without giving this away? Let me think. Uh, Grab quiz make it is my new favorite shit. Honestly, it might sail.
horrendous. You're not helping, mate. Don't you ever reply like that. And don't get me wrong, the man is handsome.
No, 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 no. I'm not a romance interest. That's not my role.
Ash is the child.
Yeah.
No, I'm not helping. We've been over. Actually, I don't know if Farmain was here when we went over this. It was hilarious.
Wait, we went over this at some point?
Yeah, on stream. Well, we didn't mention what happened. We just went over the fact that you're the child, most certainly. Just
I don't remember.
I still I'll never forget, like, in the supermarket, just genuinely all three of us looking around, and then all of a sudden Ash just disappears, and I just begrudgingly just turn to him and go like, "Have you seen the child?" He got lost again. Or when we were in Germany again, like, no make it poker till you finish your homework.
What's funny is I in fact did not finish my homework.
Yeah, it was lying to us. Making Vezranko bloody and gory custody battle over Rush. I'm afraid that will be a custody battle over who gives him away, to be honest. I pale the Ahmeds, right? I'll find a way.
This will be the best fanfic ever.
No, it fucking won't.
Man, I wish we had that one person who promised to write a fanfic now.
No, not for this. I wouldn't trust them. Maybe Ninja. I would maybe trust Ninja. Maybe. But I know which person you're referring to, Ash, and I wouldn't trust them. Because I know what kind of fic writer they are.
Wait, do you? I'm talking about that one person who...
Yeah,
who
once
showed
joined
up
and said that they were gonna write a fanfic of me, yeah.
and then never came back. Yeah, exactly. Okay.
And they were planning to...
Yeah, they were...
Let's just say it was... They were planning to write a fun fuck more than a fun fic. So...
Oh my god.
We're gonna make it a list that
Yeah, no. Now that I think about it, that could have gone in such a wrong direction.
Yeah, I remember them.
Oh my god.
They were... I don't remember many things about them, but one thing I specifically remember is them being surprisingly fascinated with my veiny arms. Which... Like, it's creepy the way I say it, but I mean, you know... Not inaccurate.
Can't complain.
Not inaccurate. Or the fact that I had bags under my eyes for some reason. I don't...
No, but I think just out of like sheer morbid curiosity, I still want to see what it will be like.
Curiosity killed the cat.
Curiosity put the cat in like a superposition or whatever.
Something Schrödinger.
Yeah.
would be. Let me quickly do it on the spot. I'm certain I'll manage. In order to. Oh, actually, no, there's one more thing we would need to mention. Yeah, no, there's one more thing we need to mention. Because we want our Hamiltonian to be expressed as PV, or PX dot. We know. P squared by M? I think P squared by M minus L x dot. Am I thinking about this right? I think so. Yes. This would be our Hamiltonian. But it would be Hamiltonian that only depends on when you mirror will be stronger probably gonna. That's why you see. That's why things that happen in Germany should only stay in Germany. I say that the man is hot because I have eyes. We all see it. We all know it. All of the assumptions are happening on y'all's part. You are all just reading into it too much.
Are we though?
Ash, go to your room right now.
What do you mean I am in my room though? That's the entire point. uh, I don't know. Parliament's pushing it too far, I think.
It has been pushed too far, like solid half an hour ago.
I mean, that's your perspective.
don't. You sound as if you enjoyed this. I don't like it. The crunch. I'm not pushing it, it's just logical. You haven't seen what happened in Germany. How would you know? Don't chuckle when I say that! You're very unhelpful in this situation, Ash. I'm out here trying to avoid a catastrophe.
Oh, wait, that's D, that's not C. I'm blind.
I fucked something up. Clearly. Uh-oh. This part was correct, I think. I saw it. You wish. I feel like such a master of the arcane arts when I'm just trying to solve an equation and I'm flipping through my own notes, into my own notebook. Isn't this should be x dot, but why would it be? I will not filter. I refuse to give up. Did I define it incorrectly? 1/2 m, not m, px dots. And it is a square. No, not square, only doubled. That means px dot. But then this is equal. X dot is just equal to p by m. Which means it should be just p squared by m. But then the derivative. Oh no, wait, I'm an idiot. Wait, where would the 2 go? What? I must have messed something up. Because this would give me 2 p by m, which would be 2x dot, and that's just incorrect. But this can't be multiplied by 1/2 because then the Lagrangian wouldn't subtract, because then the Lagrangian would give us no kinetic energy. Let me see. No. Yes. Oh, it is px dots.
B.
So it's px dot, not p squared by m.
C.
Absolutely no limit. Yeah, it's equivalent. Yeah, and then just the version that's just x dot. Simple. Okay, good. Happiness equations. Is there anyone as make it as can make it himself? It's Remco, so you can't blame your fandom for the ship. Have a deal with the ship. I just want you to keep it respectful. Alright?
Oh no. Is my pen out of ink?
Yeah, the pen is drained.
The pen is begging for mercy at this point. Zero, zero. That's it. Treaking ink.
They should have considered the possibility that Remco is straight, so it wouldn't work. I like how you all take every chance you have to reaffirm the rumor that I am gay. Which is a rumor, by the way. I've never confirmed it.
But you haven't denied it either.
Listen, I have had. I don't mean to be that guy, but I haven't had more sex with men than women. So you know. How can it be true then? Is all I'm gonna say.
Positive, negative.
Oh, the animation on it. I didn't even realize. Well, it was a waste of time on my part. Very inefficient. You're at the very least bi. That's something we can all agree on. Honestly, it would be more fun if you keep us guessing. I may have something to say about me being bi, I would say. Well, you can all agree on that.
Oh my god, what is this? Hmm. Minus, 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 minus. Plus.
Do you watch Tyler Santry? I unfortunately don't know who that is.
There's 3 here, there are 4 there.
3 and 4 of what?
I don't know what I'm doing actually. But apparently there's an equation and I'm trying to solve it for its integer solutions. This is gonna be 16? No, wait. If I do this with 8, it's gonna be 9. 9a squared minus 9a squared minus Yeah, I don't think this is working.
That's what she said.
What?
Hmm?
Hmm.
Uh, that's what I think your channel will look like when you go big. Well, that will tell me a lot about what you think about me. So get ready. Get ready to see what you assume about me. Oh my goodness, that is clickbait. Those thumbnails.
Are you showing it on stream or?
Those thumbnails are killing me.
Oh wow.
That is.
My follower called me fat like competing in a bodybuilding show. Amazing.
Is the icon AI generated?
Um, I don't know actually.
I really hope my channel doesn't look like that when I go big. With all due disrespect.
With all due disrespect.
Just watch one show that's just it's really good, ignore the rest of the channel. Because the problem is, I genuinely can't. If I see someone you going this hard on clickbait, I can't even bring myself to watch a video of theirs. Like, I can't watch Veritasium for the same reason. It's not even that I have something against their videos, because I genuinely don't know what their videos are about. I just can't bring myself to click on any one of them. My body physically doesn't allow me.
Which is crazy because
Which is crazy because...
oh wait, I blanked out. It is crazy because you normally don't care about what your body is doing or saying, but then your body doesn't physically let you click on
Yeah,
Veritasium.
no, my body has a very strong, like... it doesn't let me do certain stuff. That's just how it works. It's like a physical barrier. It's like me running into a wall, I just can't pass through it. Build reversed, build a robot, a mechanical arm, and to fund his entire chocolate business.
Huh? That's one way to go about it.
I think there might be someone I could interest you in. Which, as far as I was aware, last time I saw the channel, they haven't been doing clickbait. So hold on, let me give you a recommendation. Oh, hold on. Oh yeah, YouTube changed. YouTube changed the UI now.
That's a floating device.
Oh no, they didn't. I need to do this. I see. Oh, okay. Where are they? There you are. He is if Batman, Iron Man, and Willy Wonka was up against one guy, made him a YouTuber. But yeah, someone is a clickbaity. That's the only L. Well, I won't speak for that, but I can tell you who's literally just Batman, and that is this motherfucker. Oh no! Don't tell me you also started doing. Well, no, not quite. Okay. This video is problematic for me. But yeah. This guy is the literal Batman.
Wow.
This is when I started watching. Well, this is when I found him out. He's just building a power suit, and a good one at that as well.
He has so little views. What the hell?
So little. But I
I
mean,
mean,
it's size doesn't matter. It's relative. It's average, I would say.
I would expect like 1 million views or something because that looks cool as fuck.
Yeah, actually, when I found him, he had the same size channel as I did. Ouch. But I really like him. He's really neat because he actually like puts time into the engineering process, which is I find impressive. He's been working on the Power Armor project for a year and a half now, 2 years, I think. Which, hey, hats off. I've been only working on Taxi for like 3 months. So yeah, I'll take your word for it, Jizan, but unfortunately I can't watch their videos. My body will not let me. I'm unable to. I mean, if you don't stick to the current menu from a brown arc and continue doing all sorts of like vanish and building things, you also feel like one day. I mean, I am building things, but it's more of a hobby than a job because unfortunately. Well, I mean, eventually I would also like to teach engineering. Eventually. But not yet. For now, I need to focus on. I don't have enough resources to do everything at once. So I unfortunately need to focus on only one thing, which just happens to be quantum mechanics for now. I really wish I could do more though.
I'm blind.
It's going really slowly. I really would also like to. Well, if only. I mean, this is more of a daydreaming than anything else, and I really shouldn't be focusing on that. Because focusing on daydreaming makes just lives more difficult. But had I had the time and resources, I would just put wheels on Taxi and turn them into a murder robot. Or give them legs, I don't know, we'll see. They are able to have resources for fun stuff because the clicks from time will pay for it. Yeah, selling your soul to the devil. We shouldn't look down on them. What do you mean we shouldn't look? I mean, okay, listen. Jizan, what you're saying is that there is a reason for it. That is true. I'm not saying that there isn't a reason. What I'm saying is that that reason is bad. That's what I'm saying, in my personal opinion. It's kind of like, pardon the hyperbole, because I do realize that it's hyperbole, but it's kind of like, politician taking bribes. Well, yeah, if they take bribes, then they have more money to campaign, but at the same time, it's still taking bribes. Once again, I do realize that it's a hyperbole and most people don't care about the thumbnails as much as I do. But in my head, that's just what it looks like. Like, yeah, you have more resources, but at what cost? At what cost? And as such, my body just refuses to engage, just turns off, shuts down, like there's an impenetrable wall I cannot cross. In the end, it's a matter of choice. You wanna go down a video game show, you keep not really thumbnail. And that's the route I'm going with. It's maybe less glamorous, but you know, science. I just don't know why, but it really, I really just, I can't. I physically can't. If you want to be a fun science channel that actually builds big stuff, you need some clickbait thumbnails for the views. I don't think so. You see, Jason, I don't believe so. I think that there is a third route of being a big, fun science channel that builds stuff and not doing clickbait. I just think that everyone picks the easy mode because it's more convenient. Hey, maybe I'm wrong and I'll crash, burn and fail. That's a possibility. But if I don't, then that means everyone who has gone the clickbaity route was just pick the easier route for no reason. As I mentioned, the Crash Marketplace guy, he has been building a power suit. The recent one that, as I mentioned, shocked me. I haven't seen the stuff in a while, unfortunately. But other than that, they're keeping their stuff clean. Who else is there? Oh, there's the guy who's building the petroleum generator. That's a fun one. We have actually gotten some pretty decent work done today. And that's not even mentioning the taxi work we did in the very beginning. Although that didn't go enough, did it? Unfortunate. Do you think people will still click your non-clickbaity thumbnails when clickbaity thumbnails get better, more clickable? Both can't know for sure. I'm just running a review at the end. I do believe so. Rizom. I think that Freeblue Brown, channels like Freeblue Brown are a perfect example of that. I think that Mixtella is a brilliant. Oh my goodness! Allow me to give you a counter example. Why didn't I only now think of them? I don't think I'm subscribed to them on this channel. Allow me to give you a counter example. 2 million views. 655,000. 3 million views. None of these are clickbaity. Look, most popular. And they're just this. And this is just things that Mixtilla built. Mixtilla specializes in really, really, really small things. As in building like the tiny volumetric display. It is absolutely tiny. The fruit simulation pendant is also absolutely tiny. When you realize how big this is and then how small the pendant is. The industrial piercing, hilariously small. They just specialize in like comically small circuits, which are really difficult and expensive to make. And they've managed. Oh, I am. Oh yeah, because I'm on the main channel. That's why I'm subscribed. Forgot. I switched. Once it started after the YouTube era, the brain and I became dominant. They had easy. They were golden age of YouTube. I don't like excuses. I personally don't believe in excuses. Well, I mean, okay, there are sometimes like the situations are excusable, but I don't see how that would be helpful. I think excuses don't lead to anything productive. I'm gonna do the best I can. If I succeed, that's good. If I don't, then I should have done better. That's my philosophy. I think that if I fail, then it won't be because I wasn't doing clickbait, only it was because I would have something that kids these days call a skill issue. That is my personal opinion.
Into the call skill issue.
Yeah, that's what they call it. It's not. Yeah, but no, but then you realize you have it harder because you change. You should change your strategies and not imitate the same path as them. Not if those strategies are making the problem worse for other people. You have to realize that the reason why, like, what you're saying is that the reason why you need to do clickbait is because other people are doing clickbait. Like, that's the crux of the issue, is it not? The reason why you would need to do clickbait is because clickbaity videos perform better. But that is only a problem because other people are doing clickbait. To me, doing clickbait is an inherently selfish path. Which, I mean, yeah, it does lead to better results and more resources for you, but it doesn't change it from being selfish. That's how I see clickbait. I just see it as a selfish action. I just can't bring myself to do it. It goes counter against me. I also do realize that I sound particularly pretentious when I say this, but this is my logic. Can't change who I am. I am pretentious. You make a clickbait video, but the clickbait video is still better than an average clickbait video, so it's not selfish. You're helping viewers watch better content they otherwise wouldn't. And I promise you, that is what every single person doing clickbait is telling to themselves. How am I supposed to know if I'm just rationalizing my selfish behavior or if I'm actually not being selfish? I can't. They look the same. Every single selfish person always lies to themselves pretending that they're not selfish. And then they do the selfish thing.
Anything?
By using feedback. If you make a clickbait video and people tell you in your comments the video was excellent despite the thumbnail, you can know you delivered real value. Unfortunately, there is bias, extreme bias. Once again, YouTubers who do clickbait in their comment section also get the same thing. Simply because, well, that's how incentive just work on YouTube. YouTube will, by default, YouTube shows only top comments, that's what it calls them, not live comments. Live comments being all the comments, top comments being only the ones that YouTube chooses to give you. So in order to account for all the bias, I would actually need to put a lot of care into examining, like actually a lot of care into examining if my video was actually worth the watch or not. I find it to be a really dangerous route. Where I will never truly know if I'm doing something selfless or selfish and I'm just lying to myself. That's just sad, I didn't know that, because feedback is the most important way you can improve. Well, yeah, I mean, listen, I still take feedback every way I can. It's just that I can never be certain that I have received accurate feedback. Let's call it that way. If I have a video that sucks, then overwhelmingly, most comments will let me know that the video sucks. That's obvious. But if I have a lot of comments telling me that the video is great, then I can't be certain that the video doesn't suck. I need to still realize the fact that it could be, you know, just only seeing the comments that give me the positives. And then if I do clickbait, I will never know if it's, if I'm not getting the comments that the video is clickbaity because the video isn't clickbaity, or if I'm not getting these comments because I just happen to not see them. Either because YouTube hides them, or because people who dislike the video just click off it without commenting anything, or because it's drowned out in positive comments. Many reasons, multitude of reasons.
Anyway, I think I will probably go now.
That's fair. I'm going to finish the stream soon as well because I'm getting a bit tired.
Yeah, okay. See you later.
See ya. Do you think your current audience will hate it if you upload a good quality video with slightly clickbaity thumbnail? I don't think so. I don't think most people would hate it, but I am certain. I am slowly shifting towards it. I'm slowly making more and more clickbaity thumbnails. The reason why I'm doing it is because, well, the channel would be the main source of income for the charity, and the charity will need the income. But that's like the only reason why I can bring myself to do it. Still, I'm trying to moderate myself as much as I can. I don't ever want to reach that level because that's just greedy, for lack of a better word. That's just greedy. The reason why, like, that kind of clickbait is the source of the issue of why YouTube is the way it is. In the search of a solution for yourself, you are dooming everyone else. That is how I view people who utilize clickbait. That wouldn't be selfish, right? Well, that's my logic, but even then, I don't want to use that as an excuse, because I very much am aware that I could go too far the other way and all of a sudden could start doing clickbait and just once again be lying to myself, telling that it's for a charity. I don't want to be an absolutist either, because being an absolutist is also dangerous. Sounds like game theory. I don't know, maybe it is. I mean, yeah, I suppose it is. It's like a prisoner's dilemma, basically, which I just refuse to participate in. The whole idea of, like, you know, with that you could have more resources to spread more science, just genuinely sounds like every supervillain. That's basically the rationalization of 98% of supervillains, just... You don't understand. All of these horrible acts are justified for the greater good. That's never something you want to catch yourself saying. B minus, right? Yeah. I respect your desire to not be accidentally selfish. Thank you, appreciate it. Okay. I'm just worried that your channel with so much potential like yours wouldn't take off, but I trust you to make it happen. First of all, nice. Second of all, I've been doing it for how many years now? It may be taking off really slowly, but it's gonna take more than that to beat my determination. I have. The thing is, in comparison to what my life used to look like, right now, I'm great. If I can't succeed with the current state of affairs, then I don't deserve to succeed. Is my logic. But unfortunately, I think I need to go now, because there is a fair bit of work that needs to be done. I cannot unfortunately do on stream, because it's relating to certain matters I cannot yet show. So I'm really sorry for cutting this conversation short, and I'm really sorry for cutting the stream short, but I need to go. And for now, that'll be it. Thank you everyone so much for watching, and have a great day.